welcome to another biology presentation. So in this presentation, we are going to look at health, and this will be our lesson 1. The subtopic is going to be diseases. Let us now look at the lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, should be able to describe what good health is, should also be able to define disease, should also be able to describe various types of diseases. So make sure that you follow through to these lesson objectives. So let us now proceed. So we are going to look at what is good health. Okay, so good health can be defined as a state of physical, mental, and social well-being of an organism. That is what we can term as good health. So here we have defined good health as a state of physical, mental, and the social well-being. So for a person to be considered that this person is in good health, that person must be in a physical health, mental health, and the social well-being. Okay, that's when you are going to qualify such an individual to be called to be in good health. Okay, so when you look at physical health, we are looking at a person who is physically fit when all the internal and the external body parts, the organs, the tissues, and the cells, they function properly. So a physically healthy person is someone who is fit to perform their daily activities without any restrictions. So good physical health means that, for example, if our ears are able to hear normally, okay, we can, even if our eyes are also able to have a very normal vision, and our legs can walk, we can jump, we can run, we can also perform many other normal activities without any problems. It means that we are in physical health. Then when it comes to mental health, we are looking at a state of psychological well-being. Okay, so a mentally healthy person is someone who copes with the normal stresses of life. Okay, and that person is able to work productively and can make a contribution to the community. So that person is in mental health. Now, someone who is in social well-being, we are looking at a person who involves in communication, interacts, and is able to socialize with other people. So this can include how people can make friends and whether they have a sense of belonging. Okay, so we call that person to be in a social well-being. So this is how we can define what good health is. So we now look at disease. What is a disease? Okay, so we can define a disease in different ways. Okay, so first thing we can say a disease is any physical or mental disorder that interferes with normal functioning of the body. Okay, so we have said a disease is any physical or mental disorder that interferes with the normal functioning of the body. Or we can also define a disease as a condition that impairs the normal functioning of an organism. Okay, this is another definition that you can write. So apart from that, we need to understand that a disease can be caused by numerous factors, and these factors can include infections. It can also include genetic factors. It can also include environmental factors. It can also include lifestyle factors. So these factors can contribute to a disease. They can contribute to an organism not being in a proper physical health or a mental health, and most of their body parts are not functioning properly. So under the infections here, we are looking at something that is caused by the microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites. Then under genetic factors, we are looking at the inherited conditions that affect the body's structure or function. Then under the environmental factors, we know that these can also contribute to diseases. So if someone is exposed to harmful substances or conditions that are in the environment, he or she can become sick. Apart from that, even the lifestyle factors. So these lifestyle factors can include poor diet, lack of exercise, or unhealthy habits. These can also contribute to a disease. So we have, I hope it's clear. So from here, we need to know that a disease has a characteristic set of signs and what symptoms. So we need to understand what a sign is. We also need to understand what a symptom is. So here we are saying that A sign is any indication of a disease which can be observed or measured. For example, rash, a high temperature, and a loss of weight. These are called the signs. So anything that is observable and can be measured, okay, this is called a sign. Now, what about a symptom? So we can simply say that a symptom is any indication of a disease that can only be felt and described by a patient. For example, headache and other kinds of pain, nausea and dizziness. This is what a symptom is. It's just any indication of a disease that can only be felt and described by a patient. So it's a patient who is able to describe what they are feeling, okay, because they are able to feel that. No wonder I've given examples such as headache, pain, nausea, dizziness. All these can be termed. Okay, so we are done looking at what a disease is. Let us now look at groups of diseases. So under groups of diseases, we have too many groups of diseases. So these two main groups of diseases, number one, we have infectious diseases. So these infectious diseases are just diseases that are transmissible, meaning that they can be transmitted from one person to the other. Apart from infectious diseases, we also have non-infectious diseases. So non-infectious diseases are non-transmissible diseases. Okay, so let us now try to look at each of these main categories of diseases one by one. We are going to start with the infectious diseases. So when you look at infectious diseases, I've said these are diseases that can be transmitted from person to person. Okay, they can be transmitted from one person to another person. These are what we call infectious diseases. Apart from that, infectious diseases are also called the pathogenic what diseases. That's the other name. Okay, so sometimes you may find that they have used pathogenic diseases or they have used infectious diseases. So this is the other name. So the reason why they are called pathogenic diseases, because they are all caused by pathogens. So here we need to understand what a pathogen is. Okay, so pathogens, we are saying these are just organisms that can cause a disease. Okay, so organisms that can cause a disease are called pathogens. And examples of pathogens, we have different examples. We have viruses, we have bacteria, we have protozoa, we have fungi, and we also have what? Worms. All these are called pathogens, meaning that they are able to cause a disease. So we are done looking at infectious diseases. We can now look at non-transmissible diseases, which are non-infectious diseases. So non-infectious diseases, these are diseases that cannot be passed from one person to another. Okay, so here we have said these cannot be passed from one person to another. Okay, and this type of diseases, they normally come from factors such as the environment, genetic factors, and the lifestyle. Okay, so this type of disease comes from factors such as the environment, genetics, and the lifestyle. So that is where we can get such type of diseases that are called non-infectious diseases. Okay, so for example, when you look at cancer, for example, cancer is a non-infectious disease that affect many different parts of the body. Okay, another thing, when you look at smoking tobacco, it's also another major cause of lung cancer. So this is what non-infectious diseases are. So let us now look at the types of diseases. So we have different types of diseases, and these can include, we have deficiency diseases, we also have genetic diseases, we also have pathogenic diseases, we also have social diseases, we also have aging and degenerative diseases, we also have nutritional diseases, okay, and mental illness diseases. These are the different types of diseases that we have. So apart from just mentioning them, you must also know what they are. Okay, we even look at the examples. So we're going to start with the nutritional deficiency diseases. So what are these types of diseases? So under nutritional diseases, we are looking at diseases that are caused by poor diet, lacking. Okay, so if you are eating a diet that is very poor, you may have what we call nutritional deficiency diseases. And examples of such diseases can include, we have marasmus, kwashiorkor, and rickets. Okay, this is what we call nutritional deficiency diseases. Apart from that, we also have genetic diseases. So these are inherited diseases. Okay, so genetic diseases, these are diseases that are passed through genes from parents to their offsprings. For example, sickle cell anemia, hemophilia, and Down syndrome. So these diseases, they are just passed on from the parents to their children, from the parents to their offsprings. Okay, so at times we may find that even those offsprings, when they have they marry and they start having children, even them, they may pass the same diseases to their children. So these are called genetic diseases. So apart from that, we also have pathogenic diseases, which are infectious. So under pathogenic diseases, we are saying these are diseases that are caused by other living organisms which invade the body and live parasitically. These we call them as pathogens. Okay, and examples of infectious diseases, we have diseases such as the cholera, malaria, tuberculosis, and the bilharzia. So these are what pathogenic diseases are. So this is very important for you to understand and take note. Okay, so we now move on to another type of a disease, which is the social diseases. So social diseases are also called sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, so these social diseases are just infectious, transmitted through sexual contact. No wonder they are called sexually transmitted diseases, because they are usually transmitted through sexual contact, either through vaginal, anal, or oral intercourse, such as you can have diseases that includes gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV and AIDS. Okay, so this is what social diseases are. So let us now look at mental illness. So mental illness, we are saying this is any disease that affects a person's mind. Mental illnesses are caused by changes to the mind, possibly with a physical cause. Examples of these are Alzheimer's, dementia, and schizophrenia. Okay, these are examples of mental diseases. So normally these diseases, they just affect a person's mind, meaning that a person won't be able to make informed decisions because of such diseases. So apart from that, we can also look at aging and degenerative diseases. So what are these diseases? So aging degenerative diseases, these are diseases that are characterized by a gradual decline in the function of an organ as a result of aging. Okay, so if a person age, you may find that maybe some of their organs, they'll stop functioning normally, okay, because they have aged. Or if there is too much stress on the organ, for example, we can have arthritis and coronary heart disease. So this is what age and the degenerative diseases are. So we've come to the end of our session. So let us now look at the task. Question 1, describe what good health is. Question 2, what is a disease? Question 3, distinguish between infectious and non-infectious diseases. Question 4, list any 4 types of diseases. So we have now come to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, everybody, for having time to view this content. This has been your presenter, Mr. Mrenga. Bye-bye.